What's up everyone, and welcome to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Sandra. I'm a mom of two. I'm just 10 weeks postpartum of my second child, and this is the last episode of that series. So I filmed everything. I filmed my pregnancy up until birth, and I filmed my postpartum. You can find all of these things in my channel, so if you would go ahead and check it out and like it and maybe subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. I wanna make this episode into a quick summary of all the things that I think you should and need to know before you give birth, just to prepare you a little bit for what's coming. So no horror stories, nothing weird. I'm just like the technical, easy, helpful things that you might want to know that I didn't, and I wish I did know. I wish somebody told me. I'm also going to show you the progress that I've made from one day. I think I have a video of one day after giving birth to Fox up until now, which is 10 weeks after. Okay, so let me just start off with a couple of things that I wish I knew. Is that you are going probably to bleed for like 6 weeks, right? So after you give birth, there is a wound in your uterus and that bleeds and it needs to heal, and it takes some time, and some people only bleed 2 or 3 weeks, and some people bleed like 6 weeks, like me. I did with both pregnancies. So you're gonna need pads, and you're gonna need a whole lot of them, and you're gonna need the big ass thick pads those really charming pads. So you're also gonna need underwear that it fits into. You're not going to be able to use the pads that you might normally use for your period, and you can absolutely not wear tampons. So thick pads it is with granny panties. Super sexy. Then the next thing is that if the baby doesn't fit through the channel, they might cut you. So they did with me, with Jax and with Fox. The first time it was a lot heavier, so it was a really thick cut, and I had like six stitches in one spot. And the second time was way less heavy. Also, the getting better after that was like the healing was a lot quicker. But still, something that really helped me during this period is ice pads. You can make your own ice pads. You can just look up in the internet, because we use like somewhat of like an apple syrup for that, and you just freeze it in a baggie, and it's still kind of like flexible, so you can just literally push it where you want it, and it's so good. It feels so good because the stitching creates swelling, and then the swelling creates that the stitching becomes really painful. So even if you're on a painkiller, you feel like the tension on it. So it's really nice to be able to, when you have that like at the end of the day or something, that you can just cool it. That's super comfortable. I would highly recommend getting somewhat of ice pads that you can use there. Then something that I've learned from my first pregnancy or delivery, it's very common if you get hemorrhoids. So it's something that people really don't want to talk about, but it is super common. And I had it with Jax and I had it with Fox again. But what I've learned from the first time is that you have a cream and you have pills. And because I knew I was going to get it with Fox, I started on those pills like 5 days before I gave birth. Like 5 or 6 days before my due date. So even a little bit before that, because I was 4 days over 5 days. Well, I started on the pills already, and then you just have the cream, and as soon as you gave birth, or I gave birth, I started creaming it up. Like just put a loads of cream on it, and I did it every single time I went to the bathroom. So it's something that if you feel like you're prone to, or you maybe already experienced in your life, you're probably going to get it when you give birth. So you might as well get some stuff in the house, or if you just gave birth, buy that stuff, because it really does help. I was like, is this really going to help, or is this like something you buy at the store? And you know, it really doesn't. And then I tried it, and you have to be like religiously with putting it on and taking the pills, but it really does help. I think 5 days after it was completely gone, which is amazing because it is extremely painful and everything already hurts, so you do not want to have that hurting as well. Then another thing is that if you got stitches, you need to clean yourself every single time after you pee. So I don't want to go shower every time after I pee, because you have a busy life. You have a baby, you have a toddler running around. You can't head to the shower every single time. So I got the spray bottle, like literally where you drink Aquarius from or something, just like a bottle with a spray thing. and you just fill that up with lukewarm water and you rinse off every single time after you pee, which also really helps the healing process. So I would highly recommend that as well. It also just really feels nice to clean yourself because the blood and stuff, it's stinky. You just want to feel clean. I can also remember the day I stopped bleeding. I was like, oh my God, finally, this feels so good. I feel like clean again. I was like so hyper on if Gus would enter the bathroom when I was peeing. He was not allowed. Normally it's not a problem, but he was not allowed near me when I was peeing because the smell of the blood is just disgusting. But okay, that's also totally normal, by the way. It's normally because it is an open wound, so it's not going to smell nice. It's not going to smell like your period. It's really a different smell. Enough about that. I want to show you some progress, right? So these are couple of tips that I wanted to put in the front of the video. Now I want to talk about the progress and what I did to look like this at 10 weeks. By no means I am already done with the postpartum. Like by no means I'm even close to what I normally look like. And also I will never look the same as I did before my pregnancies because I just carry very large babies. I'm a tiny little human being. My belly is huge because Fox was 4.2 kilos, Jax was 4 kilos, and I'm only 54 normally. So yeah, I have a ton of stretch marks, and that is genetically, so you can put whatever cream you want on it. And I tried everything and I oiled up 6 times a day, but nothing helps. If you're prone to stretch marks, you're gonna have stretch marks. So I'm going to show you the progress of, here's a video of a couple of days after my pregnancy. Here you can see the pouch is still pretty intense. Like I think it's like 2 or 3 days after. You can see it's quite there. And then you're gonna see it slink dramatically. And I've not done anything. That's what you need to understand. Like I haven't done anything seriously to have this like reducing, because you can't work out yet. I couldn't really move due to the stitches. The first 2 weeks I really couldn't do anything other than just walk into the bathroom in the kitchen, get myself something, but I wasn't able to really go outside and go for walks. I didn't do any diet because I was breastfeeding, so I didn't think that would be good because you still need to, you're already tired, you have broken nights. You can't also be on a diet and be strict with yourself when you're feeding another human being. So be cool with yourself, with what you're eating. Don't be too crazy. And then whenever you start feeling a lot better, which was for me around like 6 weeks when I was able to start train again. And at 8 weeks, I stopped breastfeeding. So that's when I felt like a human being again. And that's when I really started to watch what I was eating. Here is like a video of what I was like 4 weeks postpartum. So this is my current body. This is relaxed. And this is when I kind of like try to flex it. It has a lot of stretch marks. As you can see, here are like really big ones. These ones I didn't see when I was pregnant because my belly was so huge, but yeah, now I can see them. Then I have one from 7 weeks postpartum. So I'm still definitely holding some fat here, and of course the loose skin, but there's definitely some fat cells that I'm feeling. This is it, the side view. And then I have right now for 10 weeks postpartum, a lot of excess skin. As you can see, the dark stripe, it hasn't left yet. It can take, I've read it can take up till a year till it is completely gone. Some really big tiger stripes right at the bottom. But a lot of fat is already gone. There's a little bit left on my back and also a little bit left on my stomach. But besides that, we're going really the right direction. You see the stripes on the side already again from my muscles. I did have a little bit of diastase, which means that your abs are separated a little bit. So I do have to wait till it's completely gone. I think there's like a little bit less than 1 centimeters in between currently. So I have to wait a little bit more till I am finally able to work out
the straight muscles in my belly again. But until then, I can do a lot of other exercises. Also core stability, just not the straight ab exercises.
So here you see the differences, and the biggest difference for me is probably after what I said, like 6 weeks, I was able to train again. And then instead of just losing some body fat, I can also gain some muscle again. So I can shape my body a little bit more. And I started with only once or twice training in the week because, again, broken nights, you're still super tired. I was still breastfeeding up until 8 weeks. So I was really giving myself the peace in when I felt like it, I was going, and I wasn't going to push myself too hard. I was also not intense workouts yet. I really just worked out as much as I could, and as until I could feel like, okay, this is enough, like I'm tired, I'm done, and I would just stop. Like, I'm not going to overly do anything. So right now at 10 weeks, I think I've trained 5 or 6 times from 6 weeks till now. Completely stopped breastfeeding, so I'm able to take pre-workout again, which also is a massive thing, because if you're already tired, it is so helpful to be able to take a pre-workout and head to the gym and really, like tear it up for you, like even if you're not really yet, but it just feels really good to be able to really get that kick before you go train again. But the main thing that I've been focused on in my entire postpartum series is listening to my body, realizing what I need and when I need it, and don't overdo it. Like, don't go crazy and think, oh, these women bounce back, let me just head to the gym at 6 weeks and go bananas. No, take it at your own pace. Your body is still healing. Your postpartum recovery can take up to a year. I remember with Jax, it did take up to a year. It was like, I think I was 9 months postpartum when I really finally felt myself again. Like, I really felt like, okay, this is how I'm used to my body. Like, I have my strength back and I feel normal again, because it's so, your hormones are messing everything up, and it takes a long time before those hormones are completely balanced out yet, and all the pregnancy hormones are gone. And especially when you breastfeed, like if you, with Jax, I breastfed for like 5 months, or I pumped my milk, but I was breastfeeding. It was so hard on your body, and it takes a lot for your body to recover from that, from like birth in general. So even especially when you're also breastfeeding, it's gonna take a lot from you. So make sure to do it on your own pace. Listen to your body. If you feel too tired, don't do it, because it's not good for anybody. It's also not good for your baby if you don't get your rest, and then the nights will be tougher on you and you'll produce a lot less milk. And so listen to your body, take one step at a time, and make sure that at least you try to be active as much as possible. So you don't have to do intense things. I started with a walk around the block. Then we went to walk at the beach. And then, because it's even heavy, like walking through the sand and having like a stroller and having a baby. So I just took step for step. And then at 6 weeks, I started to train. The first training was like a half an hour. Second training was 45 minutes. And the third training was an hour, something like that. Like, I build everything up. Never look at other women how they do it. Like, you can listen to them and you can think, oh, okay, that's a helpful tip, or I'm gonna try that, but never be like, oh, I should do that because she's doing it. Every pregnancy, every delivery, every woman is different. Every body is different. So don't expect too much from yourself. Just push the hardest you can do for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I push myself in, okay, we're gonna do that extra set. But if I really feel like, okay, yeah, this ain't happening, I'm not going to push. I'll be pushing again myself when I feel completely recovered. But just do it within the boundaries of it being healthy. Okay, so I really hope that I made some sense and I could help any of you. Even if I help one woman trying to understand all of this about pregnancy, I would be grateful. So I really hope you enjoyed this video of my postpartum series, and the next series will be also really cool. At least I hope so. We will see, because we're gonna travel through Europe with an RV for a month with our family, and that means with a 2-year-old toddler who never sits still, which is going to be extremely difficult on campings and stuff, to see if he doesn't just go over the camping and goes into other people's cabinets and stuff. Oh my god. And with a 2-month-old who is super chill, but still it's exciting. It's exciting. I'm a little bit anxious for everything what's gonna happen, but we're literally gonna film it all. We're gonna film the good, the bad, everything. So I really hope that you would stick around and check it out when the time comes. Ciao.